When my grandfather left me his lake, people thought it was just a quiet inheritance. 120 acres of water, reeds, and old fishing docks tucked behind a gated HOA community. What they didn't realize was that the lake wasn't decorative. It was privately owned, deeded and regulated by a control valve installed back in the 1960s for flood management. The HOA board realized that part a little too late. Without asking me, they announced a community enhancement project, a floating restaurant anchored right in the center of my lake. They sent glossy flyers around the neighborhood showing wine glasses, live music, and sunset dinners, using my water as their selling point. When I confronted the board, they waved me off. One member smirked and said, "You don't really own the water. It's just there." I tried the polite route, then the legal route. Both were ignored. Construction continued. Loud generators, barges scraping the lake bed, and steel anchors driven deep into the sediment. Fish started dying. My shoreline eroded. So I made one phone call to the county water authority, the same one that still listed me as the responsible operator of the lake's control system. That night, with all approvals in place, I opened the drawdown valve. Slowly, quietly, perfectly legal. By morning, the lake hadn't vanished, but it had dropped nearly 6 feet. The floating restaurant was no longer floating. Its pontoon sat crooked in thick mud. Tables leaned at impossible angles. A grand opening banner drooped into the muck like a defeated flag. Delivery trucks were stuck. Diners stood on shore, staring in disbelief. That's when my phone exploded. The HOA president was screaming. Contractors were panicking. Someone accused me of sabotage. I calmly forwarded the deed, the permits and the maintenance logs, showing my legal right to lower water levels for environmental protection. The county inspector showed up before noon. By sunset, the restaurant was condemned, not because of the water drop, but because it had never been permitted on private property in the first place. The HOA paid for removal. They paid for shoreline restoration. And they paid a fine so large it forced 3 board members to resign. Today, the lake is quiet again. The fish are back. And every time I walk the shoreline, I smile at the faint ring of mud where a restaurant once tried to float on something it never owned.